has been completely insane in the true crime world the last few days, last week, but really and truly the last few days. Let's get into it. We're talking Chris Watts' handwritten letters from 2020 that are now being exposed, Ashley Benefield being found guilty on manslaughter, and Nikolai Mew is finally sentenced for the Apple River unaliving. We're going to start with the one that's freshest on my mind, and that was what happened today with the Apple River trial and that entire case. And Nikolai Mew was found guilty months ago. I believe it was like 3 months ago. Don't have the exact date. But today he was finally sentenced, and I actually watched it live, which I never do that, just because I'm too impatient. I just want to like get to it, and then in my free time I'll listen to the rest. Um, this case is truly what started all of the confusion with the cases of this past year. Um, this man, what he did was completely horrible. I think the judge was extremely, I wouldn't say lenient, but he did focus a lot on Nikolai Mew's character prior to that date. I haven't watched anything or read anything about this since this happened this morning, so I don't know how the families feel about it or anything. But if you haven't seen it, he's going to be serving 20 years total. So I don't know his age now, but I know he is middle age, and somebody in the chat said it was going to be around like 73 is when he gets out. So how are you guys feeling about the sentencing for that? Do you think he got enough? Do you think the judge was too nice on him? What are your thoughts? Now let's get right into that Black Swan murder trial verdict that came in at like 10:45 p.m. last night, which lately I don't know what it's been. I think it's been my anxiety. I've been staying up later than normal, and I was laying in bed and I ran in the living room like, Joseph, the verdict's in. So we actually watched that live, and I never do that either, which is weird. They found her guilty on manslaughter, which was a lesser charge. But let me tell you, you guys, when I say I get these feelings from certain defendants, I believe that I was right on this. We don't know what she's going to serve yet, but I will tell you she was not happy at all that her bond got revoked, and her attorney did ask for her to be able to have like a PTR, pretrial release. And that she had been to every court hearing, etc. But you just got found guilty, bro. Like, what? Are you insane? No. She had to put those handcuffs on and walk right across everybody. And Eva was there. I've been waiting for Eva to update her TikTok. She did post one last night, but you could tell she was full of adrenaline, super ecstatic to have some kind of verdict, some guilty verdict for her dad's justice. So, what are your thoughts on Ashley Benefield? Tell me what you think. What are you thinking? And I saved the biggest piece of shit for the last to talk about because I need more time to talk about him because Chris Watts, okay? He's circulating the internet again. I'm like, I couldn't figure out why, but I see all this stuff where he's coming up, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck's going on? So I take a deep dive. There are handwritten letters that he wrote in 2020 that are now being shown to all of us, to the public, and he's stating that Nicole Kassinger, aka Jezebel in his eyes, was a part of the unalivings of his children. So then I like had to text my sister and talk to her about it, and she's like, oh yeah, I really believe she has something to do with it. So then all night last night, what did I do? Well, I watched the Lifetime movie Confessions of a Killer. That was okay. And then hours before that, I listened to the full interrogation video. It was like 7 hours long. I listened to that off and on throughout the day. And then I was like, just rewatching everything. I was into trials back then on 2017, 2018, but not like I am now. And you guys, when I say that my brain cannot comprehend what he did to those babies, I just can't. I can't. And listening to his interrogation video and him doing the polygraph and them talking to him for hours, and just, it's scary. It's really scary. He had no prior history other than, like, being pulled over for, like, driving shit. Um but yeah, and then I've joined a bunch of, like, Reddit threads that um talk more about the stuff, and I actually ended up on Zillow today looking at the house, and the house is now up for sale, and the people that are selling the house that bought it originally, like after Shanann and the kids passed, they're a married couple that do thrive, which is what Shanann and Chris did. And they have 3 kids, 2 girls and 1 boy. If you go on Zillow, you can find, it's not hard to find. And you can see, like, it's wild. And apparently, this couple is going through a separation and there's domestic violence involved. Wild. Wild, 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 wild. So yeah. What are you guys' thoughts? A lot has happened in the last few days just in trial world, and it's actually been somewhat nice not focusing on the Karen Reed case for a little bit. It's been in the back of my mind. We do have Sarah Boone coming up, which happens to be in the county that I live in. So it's pretty cool seeing. It reminds me of, like, when I saw Casey Anthony, when I watched Casey Anthony and that entire trial in 2011. Just crazy. So she'll be representing herself, and follow the lawyer you know. I will tell you, that is how I found out last night that the verdict was in for Black Swan, because this thing popped up on my phone and I was like, oh shit. But yeah, so we have Sarah Boone coming up. I think we do have the actual sentencing for Wade Wilson soon. I want to say maybe that's this week or next week. I could be wrong. I don't know. And then a ton of stuff about Stephen Stearns, which that case is literally 10 minutes from where I live. So that's also very interesting. In fact, my husband went to the same middle school that Madeline Soto went to. Even weirder. And my best friend went to high school, or I think we both went to high school with Jen Soto at Cypress Creek High School. So weird as hell. So he's like, I'll make an entire separate video of his like emails that he writes from his tablet, from his jail cell to his parents, who, it's just insane. But anyways, I'm gonna end this now and get it up because tons of things are happening, and I wanted to have, like, a little moment to talk about those 3 main subjects. And what case are you looking forward to? What do you think about everything that's happened the few past days in crime world? And yeah, what are your thoughts, man? Share your thoughts.